Everyone has been crazy about Silksong lately. But does it deserve the hype? Familial sad music. Hollow Knight Silksong, an indie game by Team Cherry whose popularity has been off the charts recently. Barely a month since it was released, the gaming community has been preoccupied to explore every nook and cranny, to get every possible ending, and to leave no stone unturned. But is it any good? Let's analyze. Hollow Knight Silksong is the long-awaited sequel. The original Hollow Knight released way back in 2017. Hollow Knight was a sleeper hit. The more you play it, the more it draws you inwards. The desolate kingdom of Hallownest gives off the old dark Souls-like vibe in its atmosphere, at least at the start. The Furloom seems strangely hopeful, more like a mystery to uncover. Both Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong are truly Metroidvanias at their core. A vast majority of players often put the both of them in the infamous Souls-like genre, and I can definitely understand why. But when both Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong are juxtaposed in front of the genre-defining Dark Souls, we get two very different games. Hollow Knight is truly a Metroidvania, albeit a hard one. The focus is on exploration, and that is pretty clear. Silksong, on the other hand, is a Metroidvania that somewhat tries too hard to be closer to a Souls-like on the Souls-like spectrum, sometimes, if that's a thing. Clearly, Silksong is not what I expected. What? If you are the average gaming Joe and have played Hollow Knight before, you will like Silksong, because, admit it, you have clearly been wanting more of that Hollow Knight goodness. But when you play Silksong, you won't take too long to come to the realization that this game is quite different from its predecessor, where combat mechanics and the upgrading of skills remains mostly similar, akin to the original Metroid series of games. The difficulty of Silksong is remarkably higher. Believe me, it's a steep curve. And by no means is the first Hollow Knight an easy game. It has its own difficult portions, but the experience is mostly gradual and the overcoming of enemies and boss fights very rewarding. But Silksong does not kid around. Right from the start, it does not hesitate. Enemies take more hits to die. Hornet, the game's lovable protagonist, takes double damage from bosses. And the worst of it all, the game sometimes even punishes you for exploration. That last point really hurt me at the start because, for a long-time Metroid fan, exploration is, after all, the soul of any good Metroidvania. When I first booted up Silksong, and just as I had cleared the initial area, Mars Grotto, I saw an alternate path. For a real Metroid fan, here is where the real fun begins. Normally, exploration would be rewarded by some item or ability, but this is what happened to me. Yeah, just in case you weren't able to notice, the alternate path threw me to the very first spawn point in the game, and this kind of feels like a sick joke or something, because now I have to traverse the whole thing again and there is nothing to gain. Yeah, I'll be very frank, I'm not really a fan of the Souls-like genre. I know, many of you would be like, skill issue, and then move on, but video games for me is equal to fun, and if there is no fun, then there is no point. I understand the overcoming this obstacle and getting immense satisfaction point, but I'm not really an advocate of extremes like that of the Soulsborne games. Hollow Knight is hard, but Silksong sometimes tries to be a bit too hard. That double damage mechanic especially makes no sense. There are no difficulty sliders in any of these games, so objectively the experience should be similar, but Silksong is particularly designed to give you some sense of frustration. The constant looming terror that one can die anytime somehow affected my perception in appreciating the world around me. Yes, the visuals are strikingly beautiful, but my fear of respawning 10 miles back was too strong to let me pause and marvel at the world. In comparison, I was always wooing at Hollow Knight backgrounds. But don't get me wrong, Silksong is real good. Hornet is a badass. The background score and NPCs, just like the previous game, are absolutely amazing. I would pay real money to play a game with Shakra as the protagonist. Hornet is cool, but Shakra is the coolest. And I won't even begin with her singing. There are times when I just go to her, close my eyes and just Listen. Liked the video? Like it right now. I have a lot more to say about Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong. Subscribe if you want to see more of me or just Hollow Knight, I guess. See you in the next video.